So, hi everybody.
Hi.
um, uh, as if our lives are too easy and too simple, we decided to make it a bit harder today, and we're streaming not only on Facebook and YouTube but also on Instagram. We'll see how it goes, and at least the stream has started, and I don't know. I don't know how we will be able to to cope with all the data inputs if there are any comments in the different places, but we'll see how it goes. Um, well, welcome to iBookBinding's live stream. As usual, we're happy to see you here. If there are any viewers at the moment, I'm sure that somebody will join maybe a bit later. Maybe there are some viewers already. I haven't checked yet. If you haven't subscribed to our Facebook page, Instagram account, and YouTube channel, please consider doing that, or please do that. We have a lot of content on iBookBinding on iBookBinding's YouTube account posted recently. We started to publish podcasts, both Bookish Talk and our main longer podcast, and we are posting some shorter videos dedicated to some specific topics, all of them interesting talks. So we return to regular activities, and if you haven't seen the latest videos, please go to our YouTube account and check the stuff there. You can find the link somewhere under the video on Facebook. It's somewhere around on the event page on Instagram. You can go to our bio, and then there is a link there to our YouTube account. So please check it, and please join us. As usual, my co-host during the live stream is Pavel. He joins us from Moscow. Hi, Pavel.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Stepan. I'm currently in Versailles. How's the weather in Moscow, Pavel? Is it already snowy?
Well, yes, it's -7, and also the ponds have frozen, and I'm doing everything not to go outside.
Well, especially with the current status of the pandemic in Moscow, that's also a reasonable thing to do. So we have prepared several topics for our live stream today. We wanted to discuss some magnetic corner clamps I printed recently, and that will be the first topic for our discussion. The main topic is different and unusual bookshops from all over the world. We try to cover different countries, but firstly we want to speak from our personal experience, and we can't cover all countries with the personal experience, obviously. So we will add some more information we crawled from the web, and some recommendations we got from our members of our community on Facebook. But if you have anything to add, if you know any amazing, strange, unusual, beautiful bookshops anywhere in your hometown, in the places you visited while traveling, please post the link somewhere under the video on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and we'll try to be in touch with all the comments and to read any updates. Then Pavel, well, not surprisingly, visited some more exhibitions recently, and he wanted to share some of his experiences. And I really hope that we will finally get to the news section this time, because the news are accumulating, and there are some interesting bookish news we wanted to discuss, and we'll see how it goes. So let's start with the magnetic corner clamps. What do you think, Pavel?
Let's do that.
Are you ready for that? So I had okay. I broke the structure right away. So for quite some time I've been selling corner clamps at my Etsy shop, and I really like these things, because in my opinion they help quite a lot in box making. And originally there were rectangular corner clamps for 90-degree angles, so there were the mechanical clamps, and pretty soon after adding these mechanical clamps, I made some magnetic corner clamps, and I guess this is my favorite fidget tool from our shop, because it's just pretty fun to play with them, and, but they're pretty functional as well. But the thing that prompted me to talk about the magnetic corner clamps today is that the fact that just a couple of days ago I introduced a new design, a 45-degree clamp. The blue ones are 45-degree clamps. So now you can make triangular structures like this one is if you use another 90-degree clamp in this set. So here is triangle with two 45-degree angles, corners, and one 90-degree. Then you can make some boxes. Other boxes, I guess, or square or rectangular shaped boxes that have diagonal walls inside of them. This I like even more, I guess, than the triangular box. Triangular boxes are not something very you can see quite often, but this I think is even more unusual. And of course, you can mix them in any other sorts of ways and build all the different structures. Just your imagination is the limit here. But something else I recently, that's not a new type of corner clamp. I had it in the shop for quite some time. 120-degree clamp. But it's the first time I tried making not really making a box, just some sample of something, how a hexagonal box can look while you make it with these magnetic clamps, and I think it's also amazing. And of course you can put diameters inside, because there are besides the let me fix it just a bit. So besides the 120-degree clamps, there are 60-degree clamps, and of course you can add where is cardboard. I prepared cardboard for this. Yeah, I put it under the magnetic clamps, because, well, obviously you don't want to see it right away when you need it fast. So yeah, you can add a wall inside with these 60-degree clamps. Yeah,
I assume it's obvious, but still, what is the point of all this? Why do you need those clamps? How do they help you constructing a box?
So yeah, that's a good question. So when you are assembling a box, you need usually you start with the base. So there is no bottom cardboard in this structure over here, because, well, that's just a demonstration. But usually you start with the base, and then you build walls around the base in some way. And while these walls are standing upright, you need some you need some ways for them not to fall down, not to run away from each other while they are gluing to each other. So you can either use your hands and wait while glue is sticking together. You can use how you call it, masking tape, artist tape, Or you can use clamps. Well, you can use these mechanical clamps for standard 90-degree angle boxes, but for boxes of different shapes, of other shapes, you probably need something else. And that's where these magnetic corner clamps come in. And while I like quite a lot these mechanical clamps, because, well, the process is also pretty nice and pleasant. You have this screw, you unscrew it, you can open the clamp quite widely, so you can use thick material, even like, I don't know, plexiglass or wood or something like that, or several layers of cardboard. They give quite good results, but still, in my opinion, the better connection is achieved with these magnetic corner clamps, especially as these are the smallest size of corner clamps. The outer part of the clamp is 35 millimeter long. I mean, each side, and the inner part is obviously shorter. And we also offer larger clamps, which are 50 millimeter long, and also there are clamps with 2 layers of magnets. So you can see the difference over here. There is 1 layer of magnets or 2 layers of magnets, and, well, twice as more magnets, of course, twice as more magnetic force, and the largest corner clamps are really strong. I use them to clamp together pieces of plexiglass 6 millimeter thick, and they were standing, like even then it was pretty tough to take the magnets apart. With the smallest magnets, of course, with the smallest clamps, you wouldn't be able to do that. And you can probably see over here that for some of the sides, I used pairs of magnets, because here you can see there are single magnet, and here are 2 of them together. That's not double layered magnets. That's just two clamps put together. You can also do that as well. So for a large and sort of flexible structure with lots of parts, because there are 6 walls here, and, well, there may be some inside parts as well for structures like that. Probably the smallest size is not the best solution. The double layered or longer clamps are better, because they provide better connection. But well, you can work with this as well. So this is something I wanted to show you, and I really like this tool. And obviously the buyers who bought these tools and left comments on our Etsy shop also like them. So and there also was a question on Facebook, because I recently posted some photos of these structures, hexagonal sort of box or walls for a box, and these the structures I've made with 45-degree clamps. And there was a question of how small can we go with the size of these structures. And as I mentioned, the smallest part is currently the inner side of the small clamp, and each side is 25 millimeter long, so 2.5 centimeters long, and there are 2 magnets on each side, and you can use them obviously, but I don't think we can go smaller, because the magnetic force wouldn't be enough to hold even 2 millimeter cardboard. So
and are these neodymium magnets?
Yeah. And that's the main part of the price of the tool, really, because well, the smaller sizes of these magnets are cheaper than the mechanical corner clamps. So a set of 4 small corner clamps, which looks like this. So there are 4 pairs of inner and outer parts, and then there is this thingy for if you want to make inside walls in your box. So it is cheaper than this set of 4 mechanical corner clamps, but all other sets are more expensive because, well, you go from 3 magnets in each side to 5 magnets in each side. Then you double it if you have double layered clamps, and that's where the price of the magnets starts to make importance starts to influence quite a lot on the price of the tool.
And another technical question: do I understand it right that the magnets are inside the clamps? So you print the lower part, you put the magnets inside, and then you sew them in.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah, magnets are inside. I think I should have brought the earlier version of the clamps, because you could have seen the magnets from the outside in the earlier versions. And well, we still have these photos on in our shop, because it visualizes the idea better, because you can see these magnets inside the clamps, and otherwise it's just a plastic corner thing or something. But that's how it works. And are there any comments? Are there anything on Facebook and YouTube?
I don't think so. At least it doesn't show me any of those.
Okay. Do we at least have a stream on Facebook? Because I just received an error. Okay. Anyway, so let's continue.
Now let's talk about the shops.
Yeah. Let's switch to our main topic. It was a rather short agenda. I hope it was really short. It wasn't too long for our viewers who came to watch us talking about bookshops. But before moving to bookshops, I wanted to invite our viewers, as usual, to check our Patreon account, because it's really important to our podcast project. We cover our expenses on editing of our podcast videos only thanks to the pledges that our patrons on Patreon made, and we really hope more people will join the crowd, because we started working on the Spanish and French versions of our podcast, and well, it definitely takes a bit more money to process to work with these videos, because we also need to make a translation of the subtitles, so that our English-speaking viewers can watch the French and the Spanish videos. So please check the links down below, and join the crowd on Patreon. Even pledges of $1, £1, or €1 per month make a huge difference to us, and well, we hope we will bring more interesting content to you. So let's switch to our main topic, as Pavel offered. Pavel, I'll ask you to talk a bit about what we prepared today, and I'll start the magic with the photos and all the other stuff.
So we wanted to cover unusual bookshops, but unusual in different ways. Some of them are located in really unusual places. Some of them are architecturally very interesting. They could be of an unusual shape from outside, but many of them play with the space that is inside. And the third category we'd like to talk about is shops that are unusual in terms of their content. Oh, yeah, and there is also a great Instagram account of a St. Petersburg bookshop that is not unusual in any way other than how they present their work to the world, which I think is great. Whoa, where is that?
Okay, that's on Santorini, and On Instagram stream, I guess it will be a bit unexpected what you are going to see, because well, it's a bit of a fail, I guess, but you will be able to see at least something. We haven't prepared for that, but well, that's the first stream on Instagram, and I hope you will be fine with that. Why I have an issue here as well, Pavel. If you well, that's Atlantis Books on Santorini, and that's one of the bookshops I saw quite a lot in different places and different lists of amazing bookshops you definitely have to visit. But Pavel, if you can say a bit more, I will try to fix the situation on YouTube and Facebook as well.
What exactly is going on? I don't quite get it, because on Facebook and on YouTube it seems to be quite fine now.
Yeah, just a moment. It's just that I want to see our amazing heads layered over,
We can just take over the photos together.
Yeah, we can talk about, but when there are static photos and nothing moves, it's not as fun as when there are talking heads on the screen. Obviously, especially when these talking heads are ours, and that's what viewers on Instagram wouldn't get now because. Because there was a glitch. So here's my beautiful wife, and we were on Santorini in Greece several years ago, and we were trying to find some bookish places to visit, bookish museums, something like that. And as it appears, there are not many of them in Greece. So we found, obviously there are museums where you can find books or bookish objects. I don't know, like Acropolis Museum in Athens. So there is also an amazing, absolutely amazing printing museum on Crete, and we went there as well. And I guess we will talk about it in one of our future live streams, because even while the photos are 4 or 5 years old, they're still pretty valid. The museum is still there, and the things that we saw there are also still there. But this bookshop, Atlantis Books, is as I told earlier, is something that you often find mentioned on all the lists. I don't know, The Guardian or Financial Times decide to when they decide to make a list of unusual or beautiful or interesting worth visiting bookshops from different places. More often than not, they mention Atlantis Books, and it's used antique books bookshop, and it was created in the early 2000s, as far as I remember. And you can find it started really with some leftover books tourists leave behind them on the touristic island of Santorini. But then it became something else, a pretty amazing location with lots of different books in different languages. Obviously, there are tourist guides there, but you can also find works of fiction there, and some pretty expensive books as well. So they expand, and they make their stock more interesting and more sophisticated. I don't know, and yeah, that's a beautiful location, and you can go down there into this hole So if you've been on Santorini, it's a volcanic island, or it's a part of caldera, and so it's pretty mountainous, and even in the smallest towns, you always go up and down, and the buildings are built around this mountainous relief. And how you use this word in English, relief? I always struggle with it.
Relief landscape.
Relief landscape. Yeah, landscape is much better. Okay. So around this mountainous landscape, and well, I guess that's why you have to go down to this shop. And I didn't make any photos inside for some reason. Well, this was 6 years ago, and I don't even remember why, because I think I asked the proprietor if I can make the photos, but I don't know, maybe they are lost. But well, inside you can see books and books and books, and you can probably go and check some photos on the web. There are photos from the inside as well. But here is.
I posted the link to the shop on YouTube and Facebook. You can go and see the photos from inside. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And this is a view from their terrace, and the terrace is something like that. There are also some books on the terrace as well, and well. Just for the view, I guess. Well, you can see this view from many places over there, but still, if you can visit a bookshop where there is a view like that, that makes a difference. Yeah, rent a cat. I'm not sure if rent a cat is still available. Rent a cat option, but maybe. So the next one, I also saw it on some lists, but even if it wasn't mentioned by other news sources and other journalists, I would definitely talk about it over here. It's Cărturești Carusel in Bucharest, in Romania, and in the capital of Romania, and it's it's a good bookshop, but unlike the Atlantis books, which is a used bookshop, an antique bookshop, this one is just a sort of ordinary bookshop. It's just located in a very beautiful building, and once again, a photo from a couple of years ago when Margaret Atwood's second book sequel to Handmaid's Tale was published. So here is some window decoration dedicated to that. But well, here is how it looks inside, and it's a great pleasure to go to a bookshop which looks like that.
Has it always been a bookshop? This looks like late 19th century. What is this?
No. As far as I remember, it was something else, and
it looks very, very Victorian, you know.
So yeah, it's a 19th century building, and sorry, I don't have any history. I wanted to check on the history of this exactly building, but no, it wasn't originally a bookshop, and but it is now. During the rule of communists, it was nationalized, and Romania is one of the countries which decided to which has restitution laws, unlike, for example, Russia. Romania has restitution laws, so this building was returned to the previous owners, to the owners who held the building, to own the building before the communist rule. So and now they continue to own it, and now there is a bookshop there, and it's just a beautiful space. It's also there are lots of books there, but it's also pretty spacious. And as it is, traditional for modern bookstores, bookshops, there is also a cafe inside this bookshop, so you can grab a cup of coffee or something, and if you visit Bucharest, you definitely can go there and check this bookshop. And I wanted to check something else, because while I love this bookshop, I'm not sure that I ever bought anything there, even while I enjoy visiting it. But there is another. So this bookshop is located on Lipskine Street, on Lipskine Street, Strada Lipskine, which is in the very center, in the historic center of Bucharest. But nearby, closer to the university place, there is a bookshop. Just a moment, I'll check the name. It's called Antiquariat Unu. So it's antique antique bookstore, and that's the place I go every time and buy some books from there. Definitely. I don't have any photos from there, unfortunately, because I never made photos, and I was sort of shy to ask if I can make the photos there, because the place itself is pretty crowded. There are shelves all over the place, and where there are no shelves, there are tables, and on the tables there are some more books, posters, manuscripts, prints, whatever. And this bookshop is it has two levels, and on the top level, the ground level, you can find more of antique books. You can find some arts albums and books dedicated to music. I found some really nice Russian language books over there. Some of them were definitely overpriced, because, well, I acknowledge that it's pretty hard for non-Cyrillic speaking, non-Cyrillic reading person to understand the words of the book, which is written in Russian, I don't know, Bulgarian, and other Cyrillic languages. But still, some other books were priced pretty well, and I'm pretty happy that I added them to my collection. If Pavel will pick up for a moment, I will even show you something that I found there for a pretty nice price.
Are there any other bookish places in Bucharest, like museums? Or I've never heard of any book or printing museums in Romania, except for Constanța. Constanța has an old printing museum.
Well, I had some posts. There are some. There is a printing museum in. Okay. I'm blanking on the name. I think in Curte de Argeș there is a printing museum, because there is that's the place of the sort of old capital, old royal seat. I think there was a printing museum, because there was one of the first printing houses there. Let me check it pretty fast. Sorry.
But what about Bucharest itself?
Okay, it shows me France. Thank you very much. I need Museum of Printing. Oh no, Târgoviște. Yeah.
Oh, in Târgoviște.
Yeah.
It's one. That's where the first book in Romania was printed.
Yeah, in Târgoviște. So I visited this museum. I think I even posted about it, and we'll probably also have to should talk about it later. The museum is well, it's a pretty interesting place. It's located in the place of supposedly in the place of this first printing house, printing workshop. The downside of this museum is that as far as I remember, all of the books shown there, or maybe at least the vast majority of them, were facsimiles, and some of them not very well made facsimiles. Well, it's still nice to get the understanding, to see the location, and there are some. It's a walled place. There is a church nearby, so you can feel the vibe, and especially for me, when I visited the Grasse, there was some medieval fest over there, and at the same location, so there were people walking, in medieval garb and with swords and fighting and all that stuff. So that was pretty fun.
And the city itself is rather impressive, from what I remember.
Yeah.
I visited as a child. It has some Ottoman architecture, some medieval architecture, but not much. Concentrated in one place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there are also some bookish places in Brasov. So that's on the other side of the Carpathian Mountains in Transylvania. It's a city with an old, I guess, German tradition of everything, starting from religion and continue to making books and printing. And there is a printing museum in a church, in a monastery over there. I'm not sure I will be able to find it. The museum of the first Romanian school is over there, and near the St. Nicholas Cathedral, and there is also a lot of things dedicated to printing there in this museum of the first Romanian school. So that's definitely a location you should visit if you are visiting Romania and you're interested in books and bookish things. And well, obviously the scene, the mountains around Brasov are just spectacular, and you should go there, and you should go up, and probably and it's not so far from this very touristic Castle Bran, the Dracula's castle. So well, you can do both. In Bucharest, there is the National Library. You can visit the National Library, and there are some pretty interesting objects over there. I'm not sure. I think they allow access to the books if you give them an advance on notice, or if you inquire. But I'm not sure. I have never tried. There is a very interesting museum of old maps, a private collection of old maps in Bucharest as well. Also sort of dedicated to bookish stuff and printed materials. What else? Well, obviously there are all other sorts of museums, like National Art Gallery and Museum of Modern Arts, which is located in the Ceausescu's palace, currently building that where Senate and ministries and like almost everything else related to government resides.
And still, it's mostly empty, from what I've heard.
I'm not sure about that, but it's a huge building. It's larger than Pentagon or something. So yeah, it's just insane. And it was when Ceausescu was finally shot, it wasn't finished yet, and well, so the Museum of Modern Art is located there in one of the wings of the building, and you can see a lot of interesting stuff over there. I saw some really wonderful artist books there in this museum. So you should also check just arts museums if there are any exhibitions dedicated to books at the moment of your visit. So definitely visit Romania, definitely visit these museums, and I'm sure you would be quite happy about that. So I brought the books I bought from this antique bookstore Uno, and it's Verman's History of Arts. I'm not sure how is it called in English, but anyway, История искусств It's an edition that was printed before the Russian Revolution, so it's first in the first 15 years of the 20th century, and there are 3 volumes. I found only 2, unfortunately, but let's check the price. There was the price somewhere over here. It was, I think, 2 volumes for 500 Romanian lei, and it wasn't so. It was less than half the price of these volumes, and I think maybe even quarter or something. So, really nice find.
So Romanian, not only Dracula but also books.
Books, yeah, definitely. Well, some of the early printed books, and not only early printed books, some modern printed books. Unfortunately, during the 20th century, like in many other Eastern European countries, I guess the printing tradition was sort of shifting to making cheaper books. So lots of perfect bound books and books with soft covers of really poor paper quality, really acidic paper, but it comes back to having more nice books nowadays. So that's it, and we stuck for quite long talking about Romania. That I guess there's a reason for that, but we probably should move on. Next one is. I'm not sure how is it pronounced really, but it's Selexyz Dominicanen, Selexyz Dominicanen, XYZ. Anyway, it's a bookshop that's located in central part of Maastricht, and Maastricht is a city in the southernmost part of the Netherlands, and it sits right on the border with Belgium, and it's once again it's an amazing city. You should visit it. It's a bit far from any tourist roads because it's something like 4-hour drive or 3-hour drive. 3 hour, I think 3-hour drive from Amsterdam, and from Brussels, I guess it's also a couple of hours, and from Germany it's pretty far away. From Luxembourg, you have to go through Belgium to get to Maastricht. So anyway, it's sort of far from everywhere, at least by the Dutch standards, but still an amazing medieval city. And this bookshop is located in. They say that it's 700-year-old church, so 700-year-old. It's 14th century or something, 13th century, and I guess this brings us to another topic of recent discussions. If there should be things like that in the churches. Well, firstly, it's not a church anymore for quite a long time, and there are many buildings in the Netherlands that were serving as churches in the previous centuries and are not churches anymore. And in my opinion, it's much better to have a bookshop in a church than to have a church demolished, because still it represents history. And even while there is not enough parishioners anymore in the area or something, still I think it's important to preserve this part of history. And having a bookshop there, it sort of brings spiritual vibes and tunes with the intellectual vibes and tunes together, so why not?
Sorry, we have a message that live isn't really working on Instagram. Something really strange is showing there.
Yeah. It's there is a I can I can make it less strange, I guess, but I can't make it better right now. So we can.
I think we should call this a fail and stop the live on Instagram.
Well, we still can show these photos. It's just that the bottom part of the stream isn't, really working.
Okay. Well, if it's not, it's not. Okay. So
we're not losing anything there. So if people would like to join and to see some photos and to see to listen to us talking about these bookshops, that's okay. I switched off the confusing part, so you can see a small window with photos of from the places we're discussing, and an amazing art that we use on our streams right now with bookish stuff and bookshelves. So sorry about this. This was a first experimental stream on Instagram, and well, I hope next time it will be better.
And speaking of bookshops and churches, wasn't there one in Amsterdam in like ex cathedral?
Yeah. You're in Russian language. I'd say you're running ahead of the train. I'm not sure what you use in English for that, but yeah, you're too fast to my taste. So let's talk about the bookshop in Maastricht first, and then we'll return to Amsterdam. But you sort of ruined my surprise. So here is Bookhandel Dominicanen. Bookhandel is a bookseller, bookshop, and some photos. Once again, Margaret Atwood is everywhere. And these photos are definitely many months apart. Anyway, but well, it's a good book. Why not? And if you haven't read it, I guess you definitely should read it. So here are some more photos from this location, and there is a cafe in the altar. So you can once again, as in Bucharest, you can have some coffee and some sweets or something, some pastry there. And
I've just noticed that on the right in the photo, the table are cross-shaped.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is very appropriate. Yeah.
Very appropriate. Yeah, and yeah, as you can see, by the way, in this photo, this building is renovated to meet the needs of people with limited mobility. So there are elevators between different levels, and the space is organized pretty well. And still, while part of the place is occupied by this multi-story bookshelf structure, you can still feel the space and the ambience of this old church. Sorry for strangely cut people in the photos, because all of these photos are panoramic, and well, people were moving as it happens. So probably I'll pass the baton to Pavel right now, because he also had something to talk about, and then I'll
So what about the Amsterdam one?
About the Amsterdam, yeah. So there is, if you don't want to go as far as Maastricht to see a bookshop in a church in the Netherlands, you can find one in Amsterdam, right, almost near the airport. Well, airport is not in Amsterdam, but still it's something like 30 minutes ride on a train. Wonders in the Bruren is the shop, and Pavel, I guess, will post the link.
I just did
another bookshop in the 15th century cathedral. So another cathedral that is issues for bookish things. Once
And
again,
I remember it being, unlike this one in Maastricht, I remember that one being really light. I don't know, this one seems, I don't know, very claustrophobic to me for some reason.
well, I guess it may feel claustrophobic because the photos are panoramic and they are sort of cramped in this small space. But the space it's a really spacious shop, and well, this shelf structure on the right, you can see in the photo right now, sort of a bit cramps this space, or I don't know, occupies a bit too much space. But still, they need to have some bookshelf space, and that's their solution to that. I never been to one in Amsterdam, by the way. Even while I lived in Amsterdam for some time, and in Leiden for even more time, I never been. I guess next time I visit Amsterdam, I'll go there. That's what happens with me in Moscow, by the way. There are many places I haven't visited in Moscow, even while I lived in Moscow for 35, 36 years, something like that. And nowadays, when we come back to Moscow, we visit all sorts of places that I've never been to. So
I can show a few places.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing, and we'll see how it works with Pavel.
Please enable. I can't show my screen at the moment.
Yeah. That's something we need to prepare before the stream, I guess.
I thought you did.
Well, somebody forgot about it.
So, and everything froze. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly well.
So I wanted to show you a few places in China. I haven't been to any of those, but I'm following this new architectural trend. There's been like a dozen new bookshops in China over the last few years that seem all to have been inspired by work of MC Escher. Speaking of Dutch people, I really like this song, MC Escher, the Impossible Rapper. So this is an impossible bookshop, and this one is based both on drawings of Escher and also a real-life building, a medieval well in India. You may have seen it if you've seen the Tarsim Singh movie, The Fall. Remember, there was this film that was filmed all over the world using no special effects, but it looked all computer generated. I mean, it was so unusual. And if he filmed it now, he could film it in this shop and it would also look like it was a 3D. I really like how you can travel wherever you like. You can go left, right. It's very impressive. And of course, it has a mirror ceiling, so you can get lost. That is very Escher.
Yeah. I have prepared another link of a Japanese shop that also uses this space and enlarging technology approach.
Yeah, and all these shops are in places I've never even heard of or can pronounce. You know, one of those 10 million people cities that seem to spring up every year or so in China.
I posted the link to an article about this shop both on Facebook and YouTube, so you can see it's there.
And here's another one, and I can't even say if it has a mirror, how many stories it have. I have no idea. I mean, look at this. This looks like a Harry Potter set. Yeah,
absolutely.
Which I think is very, very appropriate. and again, built very recently, received many awards, and that's a trend I'd like to see more worldwide. And another magical place with books on the ceiling. I don't know how one would use it. Maybe it's purely decorative, but again,
maybe, or they can use it for storage purposes. That's also fine, because you use the space for storing books that otherwise you would have needed a warehouse. But why not, if you can turn it into a design element of the space.
And this part looks like it's from Starship Enterprise.
Yeah, definitely quite futuristic.
Not that you'd have a bookshop on a spaceship, but
why not?
But then
why not? We've seen some examples in sci-fi where there are not electronic books on spaceships as well. Why not? In the end, there is no gravity. Well, there is gravity in space, but it's so low that you can take as many books with you as you want. The only problem is to take them up from the surface of our planet.
That was my thought. You'd probably print them when you're up there.
That's also an option, and then there should be a resident bookbinder on each spaceship. So making sure that our craft will remain in space as well.
Then the next shop I want to talk about is I don't know how to translate the name. Подписные издания. Books by subscription. It's a shop in St. Petersburg. I visit it many times. It's a bookshop. It doesn't look anything special. It is in a beautiful building, an early 20th century Art Deco one. But it's really special about how they present their work on Instagram. They create at least one photo a day for new books they get. And here's one about Second World War.
So it's a concept of a bookshop as an art project.
Yeah. It's a never-ending source of joy for me, because every day I see something that is both fun and beautiful and often thought-provoking. Like this photo, which is about music in the Second World War. Or this one. It's a book by Borges. I don't know how to pronounce in English. Jorge Luis Borges, magic realist from South America. And again, it's made by all these photos are made by people who work in this shop. So it's not like they invite some artist or photographer to make it. They make it themselves. And it's such a St. Petersburg thing. I can't imagine this being made in Moscow or anywhere else. And here's my favorite one of the recent photos. This is a book about demons, and I mean, it could have been a photo from an edition of Master and Margarita by Bulgakov. Really well made. I highly recommend their Instagram account. You don't need to be able to read Russian to enjoy what they're doing. And everywhere, and if you have a bookshop, think about making it into an art project.
Do we have a link to Instagram, or only to the website?
Yeah, I think it's in our list.
Well, I have the link to the website, and I'll post it right now. And you definitely can find their Instagram account on their website.
Then
There is a comment on our Facebook. Wow, an astronaut bookbinder should be a tough job. Well, definitely if you work in zero gravity, that's something. But maybe in the future ships there will be some artificial gravity, and that will help bookbinders just a bit. But I really like the concept. So.
And another.
I wanted to interrupt you once again because just next to this shop in St. Petersburg you just talked about is my favorite or at least one of my favorite antique bookshops in St. Petersburg. It's called Antique Bookshops, and it's located once again in a cellar. As often it is in St. Petersburg, you have to sort of go through some courtyards. That was wrong of you to do, because there was you will return or not.
Yeah, I will.
You didn't warn me. You didn't warn me about that. But anyway, so as it's habitual for St. Petersburg, you have to go through in the inner courtyards and through some how do you call подворотни, arches? No, not arches, but well, you have to go
like
through the building and then go down through some small dark shady door, and then this space with antique books opens up to you. It's more a shop of vintage books, I guess, because they have a lot of books from Soviet era, but they also have books from the times of the Imperial Russia, and that's also one of the shops I try to visit every time. It's just here we need to make a disclaimer. If you ever visit Russia and decide to buy some old books, for books considered vintage, books older than 50 years, you need to get a permission from the Ministry of Culture. And for the books which are considered to be antique, books over 100 years old, you cannot take them over the border at all. So I wouldn't give you any advice. Customs official usually do not notice books, but I wouldn't give you any advice, and it's prohibited to take these books away from Russia. Sorry about that. But anyway, Pavel, your turn again.
Yeah, so here's another shop, which is a virtual shop. You can visit the owner's studio by appointment, and we've interviewed them recently, and it was a really inspired talk, and I hope to get them again on our podcast, because we got somewhat carried away. We didn't really talk about the contents of the shop. We talked more about the idea of the shop, and the idea is in the name, Camp Books. This shop is dedicated to rare books, ephemera, and prints, dedicated to LGBT and especially gender issues. And this is a strange idea. This idea sounded strange to me at first. I mean, how would you get enough material for a book like that? Is there enough rare books and ephemera related to the subject? And yes, there is, and I'd like to show you some of the things that are currently sold there. Here's one. This is an early 13th century manuscript page. And at first when I saw it, I thought, I mean, what could it possibly have to do with queer camp or gender issues? And the thing is, it's a fragment of Leviticus. And as you can imagine, it's a list of the things that you shouldn't do. It's a long list, and you shouldn't do basically anything of interest. And also, it's a list of when you become unclean, and out of all those things, the medieval reader of this page highlighted two fragments. First, a man becomes unclean after he shares his seed, and a woman becomes unclean for 7 days after menstruation. And what's more, the page has holes in it that indicate that it was sewn to something, to be always available. The owner of the camp books suggests that it was even that it's even possible that it was sewn to clothes, to be always near to its wearers. So it's an interesting thing. Who could have worn it always close to his or her heart? It was probably a student because of the format of it. It's about 15 by 20 centimeters, which also allows us to date this properly, because that's a student format. So early 13th century university production. So it was either a monk or a student who was also technically a monk. And why was he thinking about when men and women are unclean? Was he wholeheartedly agreeing with that, or was he bamboozled by how unpractical all those things are, and nobody follows them? So that's one thing you can find in this shop. Going a bit late, quite a bit later on, there are a series of prints of macaroni, who are these gender fluid presenting gentlemen of the early 18th century. And these are caricatures of those men. You can see the whole series online, and again, you can see that people were thinking about how to represent themselves back then, and they got immediate reaction from, well, reactionaries, as they do now. As someone who wears long hair, I can tell you that still crossing even the smallest of the gender boundaries is can be a statement. Why people care, I don't know, but they clearly do, and there's a history to that. Then there are real ephemera, like how this survives, I don't know. This is the very first issue of the Come Out newspaper, and it's only a year or two after the Stonewall riots, and hardly any of these survive. I've seen laminated copies in libraries, and they are so fragile you can't even turn the pages without lamination. And here you can buy an actual newspaper and the very first issue too. Then there is a very interesting set of photographs from an archive of social justice movements. There was an agency documenting marches dedicated to women issues, so feminist marches, LGBT marches, Black Power marches, and a part of that archive with photographs like that are also available in the shop. And finally, Brooke Campieri. Brooke Palmieri, whose project this is, also makes posters that look like this. I really like this one. Unfortunately, this one is well out of stock. This is an army of lovers cannot lose is a quote from a Queer Nation Manifesto, and which is itself a quote from a well-known poem, sapphic poem. I describe it like that, and they make limited edition prints of this kind, which you can also buy on the website, which I highly recommend. So now it's your turn.
Yeah, I also wanted. I guess you will switch the screen right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say that I was quite intrigued, and when Brooke Palmieri told us about their approach to what's queer, and that their interest in this theme was sort of boosted or launched by the research in Quaker culture of in England, and oppressions they faced from the society. So that really inspired and interested me, this point of view where queer is not only dedicated to gender identity or anything like that, but then it's dedicated to having to being a minority in a society which doesn't really want to see you in a way or something like that. I'm maybe not, that's not their words, that's not Brooke's words, but it's an interpretation of sorts from my side, and that's an interesting approach, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk about this shop, this more virtual shop on this live stream, and it also sort of connects with another shop I'm going to mention a bit later, and I'll talk about it when we get there. So should I switch to my photos once again? I guess.
Yeah. And I guess on the next live stream we could show a preview of Brooke's interview and find out what they said, not in your words but in theirs.
Yeah, that would be definitely nice. Wrong way. So, do you see it, Pavel?
Yeah. Where is that? That looks like Spain or France.
So, once again, it's from my personal experience, and yeah, that's France, and it's sort of not all the bookshops, I guess, bookstores that impress you have good publicity or something. Because when I was preparing for this live stream, I checked ratings of this bookstore. For example, it's an antique books shop, and they have ratings on 8 books, and rating is 2 stars out of 5. Which is, I guess, according to their system, it's something like below 65% of I don't know, positive something. But anyway, so it's not 2 stars out of 5. It isn't that only 40% of clients are happy or something like that. But still, it's a low rating for 8 books, and but still, my experience there was quite nice, and I didn't order over internet. But this shop is in Grasse in southern France. My wife works for a large international company, and they had a partner who made fragrance for them in Grasse, and I decided to join my wife just to visit some places in the south of France. We've been living in the Netherlands at the moment, so that was a nice opportunity. And while she was working, I was walking around the town and trying to find some bookish attractions. And Grasse is pretty small city town. I don't know. And most of the bookshops were closed, but I found this one, which is called Le Moulin à Lire, Le Moulin à Livre, the reading meal or meal of reading, something like that. And
Moulin, like Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. And well, it's located in an old building filled
and it shows
up top with book to the top with books. There are lots of shelves. None of them are quite straightforward. There are lots of heaps of books, and I found a couple of interesting books over there. And some time ago, I shared this photo on Instagram, and people asked me whether it is humid there and how it is for the books. Well, this cellar was quite dry, at least not very humid. So I guess books survive there quite okay. And yeah, so a beautiful location. And once again, that's something that I really love about visiting the places, finding bookshops like that. And then something that continues our sort of continues our discussion about Brooke Palmieri and their project handbooks, Bookmarks, the Socialist bookshop in London. Once again, a couple of years ago, we visited London for different reasons, and during this visit, I went to lots and lots of different bookshops and book markets, and I visited something that's probably already not a bookshop, but we went to Max Brothers as well. It's an antique book dealer in London, so it's not a bookshop. You cannot just go in there. I'm not sure if you need an appointment, but still, it's already not a bookshop. It's a bookseller's office. And well, Bookmarks was one of the locations we went to, and I'm sort of a bit skeptical about how do you say, ultra left socialism or something, because of my, I guess, Soviet descent and experience with the Soviet adaptation of socialism. I quite liked how socialism worked in the Netherlands, and I think I like how it works in Scandinavian countries and in some other places as well. I'm not sure I like it very much how it works in France. But well, there are different types of socialism, and I'm really usually pretty cautious talking about it and expressing my opinion. But here, what impressed me is that this bookshop is, well, it's not only dedicated to political theme. It's dedicated to the history of protest as well, to struggle for the rights of women, people of color. It shows some radical books for kids, so it's a wide variety of topics. Once again, as it is with Brooke Palmieri. So I wanted to mention it, to add it to the list. And then when you go inside, you see this, which also made it special for me as a Soviet and Russian person, because that's a poster from early Soviet times, advertising books. And
the art is by Rodchenko, the words are by Mayakovsky, and the girl in the original photo is Lila Brick, who was the lover of Mayakovsky and basically everybody else around him.
Soviet morale. or Soviet morals. Moral is different. Soviet morals. Yeah. Okay. So and my wife found something for herself there as well. And when I was checking these photos right now, my wife started to write about works of brain recently on her personal channel, and she writes in Russian, so I wouldn't even post the link here. Well, we can, but I don't think many people who watch us read Russian. But I saw this photo and showed to her, and she was like, "Oh, please send it. I'll probably buy this book for in the end because now it's even more important."
I listened to a lecture by the guy who wrote this, and he had this wonderful phrase: "Men's brains are like waffles. Women's brains are like spaghetti," and this is what this image shows.
Okay, so that's that, and I guess that's it with the photos that we prepared for you. There were a couple of honorary mentions, I guess, and let me switch to different something that I prepared. Pavel, if you can pick up talking, that would be nice.
If only I knew what you are switching to.
I just wanted to show some links that
we ask our readers and viewers to send in some of their favorite shops, and they did. And if you want to add to this list, please do, because there are so many interesting shops around the world. What is this?
Yeah. Sorry.
Here it is. Yeah.
Why do you see that?
That's. I see. That's what you were talking about using mirrors to make the shop look even more surreal.
So you see it, but other people do not see it yet. So you're just wait a moment and. What's happening? Here are our heads, and I need to fix this. And yeah, here we are. And I fixed some issues on Instagram, so I hope it's a bit better now. But at least you can see some stuff. But we'll try better next time. Sorry about that.
We'll fail again, fail better.
Yeah. At least it was a fun experience. There weren't many viewers on Instagram anyway. But maybe some of them at least listen to some of our mumbling. So here it is. It's a new bookstore in Nagoya in Japan, which just opened a few weeks ago, or a month, 2 months ago. So this October 27. So just recently, and once again they decided to play with the space, and there is this infinity bookshelf over there, and you probably can see that there is a mirror on the ceiling, because in the top part of the photo you can see the same person standing upside down there on the stairs. I still think that this storage display in the British Library in London is much more impressive, because it's sort of as large as the bookshelves seem to be here, but in real life. And shelves and shelves and shelves upon shelves over there. But still, in the limited space of a bookshop, that's definitely an interesting solution, an interesting idea, and I have never been to Japan. I hope to visit and to see all the different bookish places, book markets, and all that stuff. I know there is a lot of to see there, and I really hope I will have a chance to do that in the nearest time. Then I think it was Bep van Hestern who offered this to our list. It's Livraria Lello in Porto, in Portugal, and that's another bookish bookshop that's located in a beautiful place, in a beautiful building. And once again, well, Pavel, can you post some links or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there were some more photos somewhere here. Yeah. So it's just a beautiful bookstore. As far as I understand, they offer antique books as well as modern books. So a wide variety of books you can find there. And Porto is definitely on our travel list, and I hope we'll be there at some moment, at some point in time. And then we will post our own photos from there. Another one, I'm not sure who was kind enough to post this. Somebody did that on our Facebook. Isn't working for me today. So it's a bookshop, Pillowcat Books. Yeah, Pillowcat Books. It's a bookshop dedicated to animals or themed around animals, and the person who recommended this to us is Carlo Benejam. On Facebook, and that's a fun idea. I don't know if the New York Times says that it's the first bookshop dedicated to animals or something like that. Maybe I'm not right. Maybe they are not writing that at first. But I had this impression from some other news sources or something. I'm not sure if it's first. But well, maybe it's a single one in New York that offers such a choice of books, and I guess it's an interesting concept and definitely worth mentioning. I also have some lists of bookish places from other sources. Well, here you can see. This bookshop in Maastricht, and it is mentioned in different articles quite a lot. Unusual shops located in some very strange location. Bookshops on boats. There is one in central London, and we saw it once. Didn't go there though. There are more of them. In different places as well. In Buenos Aires, that's an interesting location in the historic theater, El Ateneo Grand Splendid. That's an interesting idea. Pavel, have you ever seen anything like that?
Nothing of the kind, but I can think about a few theaters in Moscow that would serve this purpose better than they do as theaters.
The last bookstore in Los Angeles definitely gets mentioned quite a lot. Also for many reasons, but for this book tunnel, among other things. And what else? Yeah, Libreria Acqua Alta in Venice also gets mentioned quite a lot. For different things once again, but also for the use of water damaged books, which are well, as you can imagine, in Venice there are quite a lot of water damaged books there. Maybe not so funny, but still.
And we have a couple of comments. Lucian sent us a link to a shop in Southampton that focuses on political and LGBT books. That is also an eco-friendly shop and is also a cooperative, which is very appropriate.
Okay.
And
can you send me a link and I can probably open it over here?
Yep.
Or I can read the comments on Facebook.
And Bep van Gasteren recommends Lello Livraria in Porto, which is a library, I assume.
No, we just discussed this one. That was Livraria Lello, the bookshop in this beautiful building. But I don't see. Oh yeah, October Books. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me do that. Eco shop, octoberbooks.org, and not that showing the website is it's very interesting thing, but I
like the idea of it being eco-friendly and a cooperative.
Interesting concept, that's true. We were almost at the end now. We will just browse through this couple of these lists because there were some bookshops worth mentioning there. And once again, as you can see, Atlantis Books, Santorini, it's already on 2 or 3 of the lists. Babel Library in Mallorca, Blackwell's in Oxford. That's an old bookshop. Founded in 1879. This one, Pavel, I think you've mentioned already. Dujianggang.
Wherever that is.
Zhongshu bookstore. In Sichuan. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry that I try to pronounce the name of the bookstore because I'm definitely not qualified. Just Hall in Lagos. That's Lagos. Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry.
And we should probably
and an interesting name, Just Hall. Probably what?
Yeah. We should probably make a separate talk on African book selling culture, because I've seen lots and lots of interesting things happening in Mali, in Nigeria, in Benin. So book culture is growing there all the time. Not that it never existed there. Like, say, Timbuktu in Mali is one of the oldest university cities in Africa, and it has about 1 million of manuscripts still surviving despite the Europeans doing their best to either destroy them or transport to Europe. So, but it's interesting that modern bookshops and libraries are also springing up all over the Africa, especially the sub-Saharan Africa, that was untouched by this movement until very, very recently.
Yeah, definitely. We want to invite more bookish people, bookbinders, and other crafts people and artisans from Africa to our podcast. More people. We didn't have any. We want to invite them and to talk about the current states of bookcraft in different countries, in different places in Africa. And if you are such a person, or if you know a person who would be willing to join us on our podcast, please reach out to us, send us a message, and we definitely would like to find guests from there to discuss this. Licky's in Inverness in Scotland. I've been to Inverness, but I haven't visited this bookshop. Another bookshop in a stunning location, as you can probably see, and probably next time another mention of Atlantis books. This one is fun. I'm not sure if it's there, if it's still there. Tell a story in Portugal. Book bus. Book bus is something that's happening in different countries during the since several decades ago, but recently I've seen at least several mentions of them in different places in Italy, in Germany, in the United States, and I guess a person sees that there is possibility to do something like that and joins the movement. Maybe
and there is a double decker book bus in London.
So yeah, another one, and another book boat, the book barge in Lichfield. You can find it somewhere in the environs. Visiting Bath is definitely on my list, and in the area there are surrounding nearby there are several bookbinders I want to visit, and maybe next time we're in the UK I will have a chance. Maybe not the next time, because next time will probably be during winter, and I'm not sure I want to travel a lot during the winter, but just to stay in London and visit some musicals or something. But we'll see. Arizona, Calcutta, Beijing. So that's an interesting list. Pavel, if you already posted it. So that's from the Guardian. It's really all over the world, and unlike some other lists.
Please close this video.
Oh, sorry about that. I guess we can wrap it up, because we can post other links just in the feed, and if anyone wants to see what's happening and see some more links to other bookshops, just use the links. Thanks a lot to everyone who stayed with us, or to anyone who joined us at least for some time. As usual, please check the links below. Please join the crowd on Patreon. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, to our page on Facebook, to our Instagram account. Next time we will try to make it a bit better on Instagram. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes. And thanks, Pavel, for the things you prepared. You prepared some museum stuff, and we haven't got it.
And also news.
It's already tradition that we do not get to the news. So maybe we should start with news and then we'll get to them. It was fun. It was interesting talk as well. I think it always interesting to discuss bookshops and to learn a bit more about them, even about bookshops where you've been already. So thanks to everyone. Thanks, Pavel.
Thanks, Stepan.
See you next time, and we'll as usual we'll stay here for a bit more until the stream stops everywhere, because there is like 30-second or 1 minute delay at the end of the stream.
You can stop sharing the screen, I guess.
Yeah, you guess. Okay, I'll stop sharing the screen. I'll stop sharing the screen.
Well, you visited lots of shops. I never knew that is how you spend your holidays.